With all the names being talked about for the Montreal Canadiens to be traded for, I'm going to take some time to talk about some names that haven't been talked about a lot. This is Next Shift with Rick Wagen. Suzuki does not suck. As you guys all know, the Montreal Canadiens have been linked to a bunch of second-line centers, or in some cases, first-line centers that can help them out. These were some of the names that a lot of people have talked about. Obviously, Sydney Crosby would be a huge get for the Montreal Canadiens. He's a little bit long in the tooth, but still plays an incredible brand of hockey. A fan of the Montreal Canadiens growing up. He would be a perfect fit for the Montreal Canadiens to try to win right now. Are they ready to do that? I'm not 100% sure. Is Sydney ready to come to Montreal? Are the Montreal Canadiens willing to give up as much as they need to get to him? Those are a lot of questions yet to be answered. Mason McTavish, great hockey player, very young, strong on the puck, an elite shot, plays at Anaheim. There's a lot of centers in Anaheim. Anaheim has Leo Carlson. They have Granlund. They have Ryan Strome. And obviously McTavish is one of them. He's a restricted free agent. Are they looking to bolster up their wings? Maybe. Do the Canadiens have somebody that can help? Maybe. We'll see how that one plays out. Pavel Zacha out of Boston, another player, played some solid minutes last year for Boston. Looks like he can fit in a certain role as well. Tage Thompson, a great goal scorer. Is his price too high? Nazem Kadri said he'd waive a trade clause for Montreal. He's a little long in the tooth as well. Has a long contract and a big contract. Is it worth it? There's some other names that have been dropped. Players like Elias Peterson and Marco Rossi. Both players that I think are not perfect fits for a team that wants to make the playoffs. Elias, I don't know if he's a playoff caliber center. Marco Rossi, good hockey player, young, strong, but small. And the Canadiens already have a ton of small players. So I'd like to talk to you today about a few names that haven't been talked about a lot. And I think they're players that the Montreal Canadiens can go get and obviously bolster their lineup. The first one that comes to mind is Joel Eriksson. He plays out of Minnesota. The issue with that is, will it be an easy get? That team is poised to try to make the playoffs. They have Marco Rossi, and maybe he's on the trade block. I don't know if Eriksson would be available. He's a solid hockey player. It would be a great pickup for the Montreal Canadiens. Again, the Montreal Canadiens have a ton of assets, whether it's Matheson, Doc, and Newhook at the NHL level, or whether it's players like Roy, Engstrom, and Beck or Kapanen or all their draft picks. So it might take a lot of players, a lot of assets to get an Eriksson, but it's a player that can really help this team out. Another player that has not been talked about a lot is Barrett Hayton. He's a 25-year-old centerman, plays second-line center for the Utah Mammoth. He's just coming into his own. I mean, it took a while for him to kind of pick it up, and he was injured the year before last. Last year, he had a good season when he's in the goals, solid season, and maybe he could be somebody that Montreal Canadiens can pick up. He has a relatively small cap space. He's only signed for 1 more year. This could be a player the Montreal Canadiens can try to get. And again, it could be a good fit from an age perspective and from a talent perspective. Left shooting center. That's the other thing about Eriksson as well, a left shooting center. A good face-off man is Barrett. So it's somebody I would strongly consider. If I was the Montreal Canadiens general manager. Obviously, I have full respect and appreciation of Hughes and Gordon, but I think this is a player that could be of interest that a lot of people have not talked about. And the third one that I want to talk about is Matty Beniers. Matty Beniers has been a player on the Seattle Kraken. He's definitely coming into his own the last year or so, put 20 goals on the board. I don't think he's kind of met the expectations that team had. And I think he has a lot of upside. Putting him on a line with Demidov, it could be quite interesting. I'd be all over this if I was the Montreal Canadiens brass, as you say. All in all, we want to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities, some of the trades available for the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens are looking to bolster that second line. Really looks like the Montreal Canadiens will and need to make a move this year. It could happen now. It could happen at the trade deadline. I looked at Eriksson, I looked at Barrett Hayton, and I looked at Matty Beniers, and I thought these are players that, have not really been discussed as much. And I thought that they'd be interesting fits with the Montreal Canadiens. Would love your thoughts. Please subscribe, hit like if you've enjoyed this video. comment. Would love to hear your take on some potential trades. Obviously, it's difficult to be armchair general manager here, but I think there's some interesting players out there. I chose a bunch of centers that had left shots. I think that's a gap within the Montreal Canadiens. Tried to look for players that were good in the face-off dot. Tried to look for players that could play on a second line. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. That's all for Next Shift. That's all for Rick Wagen. Suzuki does not suck.